It says when it was time for the harvest. Harvest is when you done worked and now you're ready to see results of your work. When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord, and Abel brought his gift, the best portion of the firstborn lamb from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel's gift. See, the Lord accepted Abel's gift. It says that in an effort to gain favor with God, both sons presented what they understood to be acceptable offering based on their knowledge of God. Two sons, two different offerings came out the same house, same parents. It says Cain presented what he was comfortable with. I mean, the scripture tells us it says that Cain he cultivated the ground. He dealt with agriculture. He grew things and he presented what he was comfortable with, which was a vegetable or a bloodless offering. That's what he was comfortable with. I don't think he did his best. He did what he was equipped to do. As we live, we learn. What you know now ain't everything you're going to learn. There's some things you know now that you might find out down the road that you know what you can do it better. You can do it better. Ain't no need to get down on yourself because you found out there's some things that you can get better, can be better with in life. There's nothing to get upset with yourself about that. And Cain presented what he knew. He grew stuff. He grew vegetables. And so when it came time for harvest, when it came time to collect the vegetables, he didn't hoard it all to himself. But he gave God his first. Yeah, he gave God his first. That's why we fall short sometimes. We try to give God his last, and then last don't ever get there. Because we put him on the tail end of this thing, and then we wonder what's going on. Why do it seem like God not pleased? What's going on? He did the best he could. He was a farmer. That's what he had, and so he took what he had and gave what he had to the Lord. So don't pick on that brother. He gave his best. You can pick on him later, but not in verse 3. You can't pick on him. He gave his best. Now in verse 4, Abel presented what he knew. He raised his flock. He was a herdsman. And Abel, he presented what he knew, which was an animal or blood offering. That's what he did. He knew about animal law. He raised animals. And so I got all these animals. And he says, what happened is, he says he took what he had and he presented it to God. Now he didn't present an animal making all that noise. He had to kill that animal. Right. He had to kill that animal and present it to God. And even the vegetables, they had to cut it off and then present it to God. They didn't just say, God, here's the ground, it's yours. No, they had to prepare it and present it to God. And so both did the work with what they had. One presented to prepare the vegetables and presented that to God. The other killed the animals and presented that to God. They gave what they knew. They gave what they knew. But the second part of verse 4, it says, but the Lord accepted Abel's gift, but he didn't accept Cain's gift. Both of us gave a gift to God. Both of us was trying to be obedient based on our knowledge. Based on what we knew, we did what we knew. And there's some of us that all we can do is what we know. And that's why it's dangerous not to come to Bible study. That's why it's dangerous not to study on your own. That's why it's dangerous not to come to Bible Discovery Hour, because God anoints and gives people with the ability to edify the church. And so if you're trying to get it all on your own, you might not have all those gifts. You might not have those, but a person with those gifts can help you stir up some stuff on the inside of you. Oh, and then now you can take it even deeper because you put yourself in I don't even know if I can remember anything now, but in high school I took Italian, I took French, and I ain't know none of that stuff before I went in that class. But I had the ability to learn, but I needed a teacher. I needed somebody, and then once they taught me and they equipped me with skill set and taught me how to speak those languages, then I had to put the work in too, and I had to cultivate what they taught me. And the reason I can't speak any of them now, except a couple of little words, is because I don't continually cultivate the gift. But you need somebody that's gifted that can help you sharpen your skills, sharpen your tools, and help you go and dig a little bit deeper, that help you reveal some things. That you need somebody. You can't do it all by yourself, and so it's dangerous. It's dangerous not to put yourself in a position to where you receive teaching from people who God has gifted in the fivefold ministry. And so here it says that the Lord accepted Abel's gift, but he rejected Cain's gift. The Lord rejected Cain's sacrifice, but accepted Abel's sacrifice. And this left Cain at a moment of elevation. At this moment, your gift has been rejected. But at this moment, you can either be elevated if you could receive the revelation, or it could be a moment of deflation. It could be a moment of deflation if you couldn't handle the humiliation. And so you're at a moment to where you thought you was right. And you went to God and gave God what you thought was right. And God said, no, I don't want it. And so now you at this crossroads. At this moment, you can be elevated if you're willing to receive the revelation. Why, God? But if you find yourself deflated, because even after offering your best, you find out that God didn't want it. You can find yourself deflated because you couldn't handle being humiliated. All of us are going to face that in life because none of us know everything. Some of us are going to offer some things to God, and God said, no, I don't want that. That's not how I wanted it. That's not how I wanted that ark built. That's not how I wanted the temple built. That's not how God's going to say, no, I'm giving you specific instructions. And so I'm not humiliating you to destroy you. You're choosing to be humiliated. But what I'm giving you is instructions.